All right, brethren. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. When you hear that, you know it's time for my program. You know it's time for the Creator to be glorified. You know it's time for the light of His Word to go out. You know it's time for a time to have fellowship with one another between me and my brethren who are called faithists in the current reality, brethren who can attain to the voice of the Creator, whom the world commonly calls God. So thank you, Creator, for this opportunity to try to redeem the time and to give glory to your name and to try to possibly say something that will be a great encouragement to someone somewhere who may see this video. Creator, it seems like you were showing me personally every day the wisdom in attaining to seeking your name, to seeking your face, to seeking what your will is for man. It seems like we live in a reality where people are there's a lot of darkness in the current reality. And it seems that the older, speaking only for myself, the older that you get, it seems like the more wisdom, that the more you understand how important it is to seek the things above and not the things that are below. The earth, it has a strong pull on people, and it's very hard to see the darkness, the events that go on all around us, and the fruit that it bears on the minds and hearts of people. Meaning, when events happen that threatens people's reality, then the beast kingdom steps in the minds of people, and it strengthens its grip on them. And then you have shown us that we're in a time right now where you are causing the sons and daughters to step away from deception and to learn what religion, the role that religion plays spiritually in the reality of spirits of men. So I personally just thank you for your ability to show your people that there is such a thing called light and there is such a thing called darkness. And it's not very important in the current reality, the things of the spirit. And it seems like that age-old lesson where we have to learn only when it's too late, it still applies. So, Creator, thank you for this program, for my channel, and the opportunity that you're giving me to try to be a light while I am in this reality, and help me to do the best I can in talking about the things that I talk about today on the video. So, all right, brethren, my name is Jaquab Ben Israel. Welcome to my channel, where I try to redeem the time. Simple as that. Try to redeem the time, try to share the light that has been given to me to the best of my ability, realizing that the Creator is real and that He's moving, and that we are soon to witness a, what's the best way to say, kingdom of God on earth as it is in heaven. The Creator is moving in that direction even as we speak. There's a lot that is going on around us, and one of the reasons for my channel is I try to share with you some things that are going on in our current reality so that you can know that we're not in a stagnant situation where we just kind of hang out and do nothing. We believe the same thing. We're able to attain to the Creator's voice, but we just kind of hang out and and just wait until the other shoe drops. I like to try to look at I always try to see the Creator every day. I try to read and then sensitize my soul to be able to look at our reality and to listen to the sound of my soul voice so I could be encouraged to see how the Creator is moving in the minds and lives and spirits and souls of men. And unfortunately, you got to look at a lot of the world to learn a lesson. And we're in a time right now where there's it's tough to say, man, but we it's like there's very little positivity that you can share about the things that go on in our reality. When you read the OAHSPE, when you read the OAHSPE Technical Practical Guidebook. Hi, Mahalia. Hey, sister. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. When you read the OAHSPE, the Practical Guidebook, which is the newest revelation from the Creator, the theme that runs throughout it is that the light is going to win. You can even look in your reality and you can see how the light, it dissipates the darkness. You know what I mean? It's an esoteric principle that is same thing in the world we live in. You go into a room, you turn on the light, and the darkness, it goes away. The light takes over. The same principle is in the world today. There's a lot of evil going on, and I hate to report on it. OAHSPE says don't report on it. Look the other way. And man, I just really need help with that because I have this channel. I have a desire to talk to brethren and share with them. And a lot of it is I like to show us. I like for us to see that there is a blessing behind being a faithist, being able to attain to the voice of the Creator, being able to know what the beast kingdom is and to avoid it. To me, that's one of the biggest things. That's one of the biggest blessings. I don't matter it, it very well may be the highest blessing to be able to know who the beast kingdom is. Because personally, me, I look at the world, I think it's just a lot. It's very few evil, bad, or I don't know what a good word is for unrighteousness. I don't want to use that word in talking about people, but to me, in my reality, I see very few what's a good word for unspiritual, unenlightened, people. I just seem to see a lot of, who I think are just plain good people. And the only difference that I can see as I observe and, my own reality is that most people do not educate themselves concerning the Creator. That's the only problem that I see. I think a lot of people are spiritual. They know about the pitfalls of religion, quote unquote. They call themselves spiritual, but they leave it at that. They satisfied with that. They chase the world. they put all their energy into the materialism, the money getting of the world. And when you read the, with the OAHSPE, with the practical guidebook, it's like, man, you just shake your head, because why do people think that the creator, that you don't have to be proactive in order to have a relationship with the creator, but you see that you have to be proactive to have a relationship with darkness? Well, maybe you don't have to be proactive to have a relationship with darkness. You could just kind of hang out and, hey, Elizabeth. Hey, sister. It's good to see you, man. Good to see you. That lovely smile. Good to see you. Thanks for joining me. You why why does the world seem to think that when it comes to the creator, you could just treat him any old kind of way? You don't have to resonate with him. You ain't got to learn about him. You know what I mean? You don't have to take him seriously. Why do people think like that? I mean, when I look at the world that I live in, everybody, and it's been this way for a long time in my life, where people they preoccupied with, for example, like, you meet people, you talk to them, and the creator, he's not, and I don't expect the creator to be the first thing out of people's mouths, but at some point you talk to people and it eventually gets around to religion a lot of times, because they start mentioning God, and but it's always very surface level. It's always very surface level. And I'll be honest, in my mind, in my soul, and my spirit, I'm dying to live in a world where I could talk to brethren who they feel like I do, like that song, that famous song, who like-minded. I could just roll up on them. I could talk with them about what they learning, what they going through, and are they experiencing the power of the word, the anointing that's behind the word? I'd love to do that. I'd love to live in that place. I guess it sounds like the second resurrection. I'd love to live there, man. I'd love to be surrounded with people like that. Because in this reality, you just ain't gonna find it. I can see why the earth is the lowest of the living. I mean, I don't want to sound negative, man, but it's a shame. It's the lowest of, it's the darkest reality. We in the womb, we waiting to be born into the spirit. We know that we are under the highest blessing that a man could be under. We can't share it with nobody. It's only for you and other people. It just have to, the creator, he just got to come to them. We can't give this desire to attain to his voice away. There's nothing we can do except to be ready in case the creator, he decide he going to use you to be a light to somebody. That's best you can do. You can't force it on anybody. But I know the creator, he got to know that we look at our reality, we see the corruption and the evil. Some faithists, I have to envy them. They shut themselves out from the world. They never turn on their TV. They never listen to internet or social media or anything. They totally cut themselves off. And Elijah, brother, all right, man. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for checking in, man. There are people who they don't get involved with, they don't mix, with society, or, they just kind of like monkish, and I I to a degree, I I envy that in a sense. I can't really do that. I'm a social type of guy. Well, I'm a social type of guy. I like to get out there. You know, I I like to mix with the people. I mean, but I'm a different type of guy. I like to hang back and I like to observe and learn, and then when I feel the power, I like to turn it on. I mean, turn on the charm and turn on the affability, the likability that the creator has given me to mix and mingle with people. But a lot of times I like to hang back and look and learn. And I know that people, they would love to hang with people who they all are under the same vibration. So I know the creator knows it's tough on you faithists. It's tough, man, that we in this situation, we scattered. We know that the creator, he said, I'm gonna bring you to the forefront. I can see how he's going to do that. When you read Jehovah's Kingdom, y'all should read Jehovah's Kingdom, man. What the creator said is coming for the faithists. And the power that's going to come on faithists, making chairs, sing and dance, manifesting power through the children. And he's going to draw the world that way. But it's still a shame that it's got to get to that point. It's got to always be when, it's, I want to say too late in the sense that you miss redeeming the time. It appears to me that the creator is going to move on people who they redeem the time. They take him seriously, man. They read, they pray, they talk to the creator. The creator in return, it's like, see, we can't keep looking at corruption and evil getting away with it. I know that the creator know, man. We can't keep looking at it, seeing people get away with it in the world. And well, when I say get away with it, seems like if you're like I give an example with the government, there's a lot of corruption going on in the present reality, man. I mean, it seems like there ain't no fear of telling lies and deceiving the people. It's like all that is out the door, man. It's people, their character don't really. It seems like the leaders. Well, the OAHSPE says it. That verse that I always show y'all, always talk about. The creator, he said himself. He says, only rogues. Remember that? Only rogues will accept your great offices. I think about that all the time, man. It's like it's incredible, man. Only rogues. And the OAHSPE came out in the 1840s. And we do seem to be getting progressively worse. Our leadership, more and more tied to materialism, less honorable, less character, sold out to moneyed interests. I was just reading something before I came online about how there, people are speculating on how many people Joe Biden is going to pardon. And it's going to be a lot of big names that he's going, people who have been corrupt. And now that Donald Trump is coming in office, there seems like there's getting ready to be hell to be paid. Hell is going to be paid. He's going to, it seems as if, and remember, the OAHSPE says only rogues, that's unprincipled, undisciplined men. And the creator said that's going to be from now on. And so It takes one to know one, and the political leaders that be, they know one another, and they know that when Trump gets in office, he is going to take revenge. Remember how they treated his wife's intimate apparel? The FBI, they were investigating him because Joe Biden, he had them investigate him, and they went to his house, and they were messing with his wife's secret clothing, and embarrassing her like that. So now he's coming back into power. What do you think he's going to do? And those who persecuted him are now on the run and asking the president, hey, give us a pardon, or he's going to send us to jail. And I'm talking about some pretty big names. So the creator, I can see his hand in all this and what he's allowing. He's tearing down this kingdom because divided house can't stand. And he's showing you, and there's a lot of fires on the stove that are burning right now. It's time for the soul affirmations. I'll pick it up after the soul affirmations. But here's another blessing that, man, you just wish that the world that they knew about, the soul affirmations. My brother gave me some good news the other day that I want to share with y'all. He got in a jam and the creator bailed him out. And brethren, you pray for your family, you cover them in prayer, and I believe that's effective. Y'all already know that. I'm not telling you anything new, but if anything, I'm encouraging you. Yeah, if people would testify more, I think more of that would go on. Intervention, praying for our brethren, praying for our family, that sort of thing. And the creator, he's now letting us know about the soul, the importance of the soul. It's like it's a secret that's done gotten out, if you ask me. Time for the soul affirmations. I'll pick up a little more on that as I go on. But the soul affirmations, I used to read 3 verses 3 times. And then I felt some pressure to read 1 verse 3 times so that we can try to remember. Because see, you're going to read it and you're going to forget it if you're like me. You got to keep going over and over and over again. And the important thing is to phrase something. Find a phrase yourself. Find a phrase yourself. See, the creator, he basically teaching you to talk to your soul. Remember, we read the creator, he said, go make yourself. Go make yourself. Do you know that that's equal to giving you a money printing machine? You know what I mean? I don't want to sound vulgar, man. That's equal to saying, hey, you know what I got here, brother? Yeah, what you got, man? I got a money printing machine. You want it? Oh, man, imagine the reaction you get out of people. Oh, they flip out. You know what I mean? Especially a homeless person. That's what the creator doing. That's what he doing. And ain't no takers. Don't nobody want to join. Ain't nobody want to, let's do the soul affirmations. Now, last week we did this. If you can see the screen, I call my soul to power into expression. Now, we're going to do the next one. We're going to go through all these soul affirmations. And you know what? I got more for you after that. We're going to probably be doing soul affirmations. I mean, new ways of speaking to our soul until the harvest. I got that many for y'all. It's all throughout Radiance Anthology. You see? Let's go ahead and do it. We're going to do this one today. Let's say this 3 times together. 3 times together. This one right here, the Great Spirit. We're going to do this 3 times on 3, okay? Let's do it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. The Great Spirit is the power that now works through my soul to quicken, purify, and heal my being. Again, 1, 2, 3. The Great Spirit is the power that now works through my soul to quicken, purify, and heal my being. One more time. 1, 2, 3. The Great Spirit is the power that now works through my soul to quicken, purify, and heal my being. There it is. That's the soul confirmation for today. And see, while I'm talking, y'all can make a note of these other soul confirmations. You see, you don't have to stay with what we read. That's just corporate soul confirmation, hoping that brethren who see this video, that they will also join their voices with ours. And then we create a vortex. See, we got to do it by faith, man. You know, the angels, they say that this is how you create a vortex. See, breath, that, you know, the creator's voice creates a vortex. His breath, you know, it goes out and a vortex is created. You know, that's the creator working through you when you use your voice, which comes from your soul, to you put it out there in the universe. It create. Do you now really? Do you think this don't have no effect? When we all get together and say it like this, can imagine, like, okay, can you? My brother has a room on Facebook, Brother Omian. Here's one of his rooms. Here's one of his rooms. Now look at all these people. Look at that, 467 people. If we were all together, you know, and we were doing the soul confirmation, look at all those people there. See? What about the other room? What about Brother Omian's other room? What about his other room? And you know there's way more, 284 people. That's 4, 5, 6. That's around 700 people. And then we all do the same soul confirmations. And then you got my room, you know? You got my room. See? And then there's what? 30 people there, you know? Imagine all them people, all them brethren, man. And we do the soul it's like, you know, we're a community of people. You know, we're cliquish though. That's one thing that I'm that it depresses me about. Well, I shouldn't say depresses me, but I wish, you know, cliquish. We can be a bit. It seems like there's a bit of cliquish. Here, this is the word I'm talking about. I can't say it right. Y'all know what cliquish mean, right? This word right here. Definition of the word cliquish. Since I come into the faithism, I found this to be true. I think that we can be this, we tend to be, we can fall into this vibration, you know, of a group or place tending to form or hold exclusive groups, so not welcoming outsiders. Now, I wouldn't say not welcoming outsiders, but when I use that word cliquish, what I mean is that when brethren within brethren, when you separate yourself, you don't separate as in you wouldn't fellowship with them, but when you separate yourself, you know what I mean? Then that's cliquish, and I don't think that should be. I frown on that, but I guess we're not perfect, but that's what I mean when I use that word. But if we were oh my goodness, man, can you imagine if we were all united and we began to do these soul confirmations, like we picked one for all of us, on this day, we're going to do this soul confirmation. And so, brethren all over the world, they rise up in the morning. They say the Great Spirit is the power that now works. See what I mean? Now you talking about real action, brethren. Real action. Not no longer, us always getting taught about this thing or that. At some point the soul is going to start wanting some action. Now, I don't want to sound forceful or you know what I mean. See, like we live in this world and we see a lot of, when you keep up with the events of the world like I do, there's a lot of corruption. There's a lot of people. There are a lot of people, suffering people in the world because somebody's got to have more than their fair share. That's why that dude killed that healthcare CEO. If that's really what happened, I read that he had back pain and his claims were denied. And there are thousands of people like that. They have premiums, they have to pay those premiums. And then when they submit a claim, the company says, nope, this doesn't qualify. And you got to pay that $30,000 bill yourself. And people ain't got that. So some people get angry. See? And they take matters into their own hands. And the creator said, when a government, now I know a healthcare company is not a government, but the principle is the same. When you have a company that has fiduciary responsibilities to people that were fiduciary, it means to operate in your best interest. And when they do not do that, the creator says he sets up guardrails. You know what those guardrails are? Anarchy, chaos, and assassinations to warn those who rule over us. If you do not enforce the will of Jehovah, which is to take care of the people, the creator said, there's a spirit that's going to go out into the people to bring anarchy, to bring chaos, and to bring assassinations. And that's why you see what happened in Syria. I have to think that what happened in Syria, for those of you who know, Syria recently, the prime minister, the president, he was overthrown. He had been in power 50 years. And there were reports of corruption and iniquity towards his own people. And for whatever reason, the creator, he allowed it to be overthrown. And I think the lesson is for America. No doubt in my mind, the lesson is for America, because the simple fact of when you see it seems like, I'm trying to find a way to phrase it. I should go to my room because I want to look at some verses. We are becoming famous for homelessness. People who they don't have a place to live, man. There's all kinds of videos of people who live in their cars. You think that the creator is pleased with that? These people are his children. You know what I mean? These people, they are his children. So what do you think that you know what I mean? Do you really think it's okay with the creator that you got a government that serves itself and not its people. Brother, I'm telling you, man, we are on the precipice of an explosion. We can't go on like this. We cannot go on like this. I was looking at the video, I'm going to talk a little bit more about what we've been studying with how the angels, the special season, the special session. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that at the top of the hour, how they work. Angels are showing us, hey, this is how we work. This is how we move. Here, look back at history. This is what we did. This is the effect it had. This was what you could not see so far as the light that caused people to think and to do the things that they do. See, they telling us so that now we can look at our reality. We can say, and we know where we at. We know where we at, so we can be encouraged, so that we don't give up the faith. We keep believing, man, because, let me share something. Let me say something to y'all. How would you like to be in Syria right now, you brethren? How would you like, see, you're a Christian, right? You're a Christian. See, this one reason to give thanks to the Creator. I mean, for real, man, Creator right now is saying, get out of the beast, get out of it. That's Christianity, right? Get out of the beast. This is the beast. He tell you plainly. Now he's saying, get out of it. Now, over in Syria, I'll spare you, brethren, the details, right? It was recently overthrown, and it was Muslims, and I don't know all those different Mohammedans, okay? And there were some rebels that overthrew the guy who was in charge over in Syria, right? And these rebels are Mohammedans. And you know what they're doing right now over in Syria? They're hunting for Christians. They are hunting for Christians. They are hunting. Here, let me see. Maybe I can find the article. Let me see if I can find the article online. See, this is where one reason I think that we ought to praise the Creator, man, and why it's important to take him seriously and to search for him and to read and to meditate and to pray, because he can keep us out of trouble. See, let me see if I can find something. Rebels hunting down Christians in Syria. Okay. Christians in Aleppo fear for their future after Islamists take over. Christians in Syria face perilous future, watchdog warns. Here it says Islamist rebels seek to assure Christians like it's going to be all right. Syria's Christians on edge and rebels take Hama. Islamist rebels seek to, okay, same headline. So you decide what the situation is. I tend to believe that Mohammedans are very anti-Christian. There is a history of persecution of them. And you have to thank the Creator that this incident, that the Creator, he, for the most part, he hides faiths. Nobody knows about us. They don't know what we believe. You can stop us at a checkpoint and a Mohammedan say to you, who's your God? You can say Allah. They'll say, okay, that's cool. Allah just means the power, or you can say a faithist. They say, what's a faithist? We believe in Allah. and you just walk right on by. Now, I don't want to sound light, you know what I mean? But the Creator, he delivers us. You got to believe that he delivers Faithus from what's coming and has done it from a long time. You got to believe, man, that the Creator, he really does that. Faithus, they got a history of being persecuted. Creator, he called us to be non-resistant. The world find out about that, they'll plunder us. You got to believe that the Creator, he works on our behalf. You just got to believe it, man. Now I'm going to go to my room real quick before I get into the subject matter of the reading and just share some verses, some things that I just like to share. I like to find things and then I try to share it with brethren. And I'm going to just do some scrolling. And then when I find one that I'm motivated to talk about, I'll talk a little bit about it. Found this verse where it basically, the Creator is showing us what we look like spiritually. Remember again, I think that we really want to know, man, what do I look like spiritually? Does anybody, am I making progress or am I digressing or what do I look like? Here the Creator says, the giant of the great beast, the false gods, it lies dead and cold at your feet. Creator said, you are encompassed on all sides by a multiplicity of gods. One by one, you have overcome them and cast them out. Now, you can look at this chapter, and I'm not taking this out of context. It's talking to you, brethren. I'm not taking this out of context. That's talking about it's especially our day. I think this is the book of inspiration or knowledge or judgment. Book number 32. It says, behold, you have gone forth as a little man to battle against a giant. It says, with your sling, you have smitten with your one stone, Jehovah. See, he keeps us. One thing the Creator does, he keeps us out of the beast kingdom, man. And we're in the season of the beast kingdom, talking about Christmas, big harvest for the beast kingdom, big harvest. Turn on the TV, chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. Everything pointing to the beast kingdom. And then you got to think, when it come time for the separation, whatever it will be, I'm really, really asking the Creator for some understanding on what is going to become of us. Will we be gathered? Will power from on high? I think that the next big move of the Creator is power from on high. You brethren, keep doing the soul communion. Keep doing that, man. Keep doing it. The Creator, he seemed to be saying that's how you make yourself. That's how you make straight paths for the Lord. Make straight paths, man. See, that's what we look like. Behold, you have gone forth a little man to battle against a giant. He telling us what we look like. And I'm not taking this out of context. I can use that for brethren, you brethren. But whoever establishes in the second resurrection, which is the abnegation of self to serve Jehovah, shall not fail. Talking to us, saying, if you could just climb that mountain, man, do not seek to serve. Do not, and this reality is hard because everywhere you look, You see people serving themselves. They showing you that's the high life. You missing out, brother. You see us, we over here drinking champagne, you know, you over there talking about what you can do to serve your brother. You missing out. We got a big party over here. You know, what are you doing? That's what the world keeps saying. They keep saying that, man, you know. And all societies, constitutions, and bylaws founded by men not capable of the second resurrection shall fail. See, you talking about capitalism, because capitalism, it's all about selfishness, materialism. It's all about acquiring and conquest. That's where we live. That's where we live, man. But it has been proved, and it shall be proven again, that all brotherhoods on earth founded on any of the idols in heaven shall not stand, because there is no second resurrection to minister to them. In your singleness of purpose, you shall be ministered to by spirits of the first resurrection. If you're for yourself, you'll be ministered to ministers of the first resurrection. This refers to the United States. Now, this was a footnote. I should have separated this. I didn't separate this from the verse. This is a footnote, 1258. It says, this refers to the United States of America. Note the past tense, I have provided. Now, that was referring to another part of the verse, but let me read the rest. It says, therefore, this cannot be the modern state. Okay, I can't read this because I should have separated the footnotes. I should have separated. I didn't think to separate, to take the footnotes out, so I got to leave it alone. Hear the words of your God, oh man, and be wise in your judgment. He who created you alive gave you of his own being. Be steadfast to him, and you shall not err, but eliminate yourself from the chance of error. Eliminate yourself, man. And even as one drunken man on earth entices another to drunkenness. See, it's little, these, you know what? That shows me an anointed creator who is behind these words. Because this is just, you know, I remember when I used to drink, you know, and it is so true, man. You want to find a friend, you know, you can drink with, so y'all can both get drunk, you know, enticing one. Here, man, you know, I got some more here. Here's another bottle, man. You know, yeah, I got more. I'll get you one. Hold on, you know, enticing one another, man. I mean, the way the creator describes our reality, the little things, even he pegs, he nails it, you know. And even as one drunken man on earth entices another to drunkenness, so are there hundreds of millions of idolatrous angels who return to more angels, man, dead spirit. They return to mortals and persuade them to their same doctrines and debaucheries. That's the world we live in, man. People under that vibration, you know, they getting persuaded. Hey, man, you know, Christian, Catholicism, Mohammedanism, Hinduism, Buddhism, you know, we all getting together tomorrow. We're going to meditate and sit in a circle and pray, you know. Oh, that sounds good, you know. So I don't know how this thing does it, but it made me skip up. So it's about time for the reading of the video, the reading anyway. And here's a verse here. It tell you how the darkness, man, this verse here, it shows you the seriousness of darkness, man. It shows you, man. When you read this right here, this is basically, to summarize the whole thing, it's showing you the level of captivity of the darkness, of the beast kingdom. it shows, I mean, this ought to make you, you know what I mean? It should make you grateful. You faith this, man, you know. It should make, I mean, you know, I think I used to tell a brother, man, I believe that when we're born again and the angels, they show us what we have overcome, what the Creator did for us, I think we're gonna be knocked out for at least a week at what the Creator he made us able to overcome what we overcame in the world. We were able to, against all the influences of the world, and you're able to keep faith. You're able to attain to His voice. All the evil, I don't want to use that word evil, but the deception in the world, the deception. Look at here, the beast kingdom. That's all the beast kingdom right there. Look at that. It mentions Jewish angels in the lowest heavens and their number, which is 30 million. The rest is in the billions. Look, Christian, lowest heavens, 3 billion. You know, look at those numbers, man. East India, Brahmin, 4 billion, Buddhists, 7 billion. Now, I have to think it's talking about, I think that it's talking about presently. You have to decide for yourself. But even if it's talking about for the history of man, brethren, that's still a lot. That is just too much, man. It's talking about the harvest of darkness. Here's another one. It says, the virtue of preaching shall come to an end, but practice in fulfilling good works and living up to my commandments shall be all that will help toward establishing of my kingdom on earth. See, all this stuff, it don't mean a hill of beans to the world. It don't mean nothing at all. Time for the reading of the word. And it shall come to pass that when the western continent, here we are, America, is inhabited across from east to west, all the earth will be circumscribed with men of wisdom and learning, and the year of the circumscribing shall be the beginning of Cosmin. And here's the next verse. I think it is the next verse or a verse after. It says, and the heavens, or it says, wow, it did it again. The computer took away my verse. It took it away. It took it away, man. It took the ain't that a trip? It threw it away, so I wouldn't read it. Okay, now I read this about the virtue of preaching shall come to an end, but practice and fulfilling good works and living up to my commandments shall be all that will help toward the establishing of my kingdom on earth. And then I wanted to get to this, and it took it away from me. It said, "This shall come." Nope, that's what I read. Okay, and I went to read this, and it took it away from me. And the heavens of the earth shall be opened, and his angels shall descend to the earth and make themselves known to mortals. That's you, brethren. Even through those whom your Lewis shall have borne for the work. That's you, brethren. Creator said, he said, the angels are going to make themselves known to mortals. Now, I have to think that that's mortals, not just faithists. I could be wrong. In other words, I see the Creator saying, I'm going to get the world's attention. I'm going to get the world's attention. But I think he's saying angels shall descend to the earth and make themselves known to mortals. I think they're out. I tend to think it's already happening, isn't it? Hasn't it always been happening? He must mean a greater scale and in a different way. But here I posted something else that says, from that time forward, the old order shall decline to be put away forever. That's talking about our day. And the new order shall take its place to triumph over all the earth. That's the kingdom of Thetis. That's where we are right now. The old order is in a state of decline. State of decline. That's what I try. That's why I try to talk about the geopolitical situation, to let us know things like this verse right here. The old tradition, the old order shall decline. All right, so it's time for the reading of the word. Name of the video is From Darkness to Light, and that's actually a section in Radiance Anthology. But I'm going to take one more video. I think this might be the, I don't know, final video for the lesson that we've been doing on the video called Special Season, Special Session, that was in Radiance Anthology. And basically, it's been telling us about the soul. It's been emphasizing the soul. The creator brought it to my attention. I want to say by mistake, but can't say that. That the way, I mean, it was like an explosion to me, the way I came across this. I mean, it just should not have happened the way it happened, but it did happen. And so that's what really blessed my soul. It was impossible the way it happened. All right, now my computer is messing up. Let's see. Am I still broadcasting? Yeah. All right, now let me bring up the part where I want to talk about today, so far as what we have been reading. I'm going to go to page 5. Go to page 5 and talk about that some more. Type of 1. Am I even online? Can somebody type 1? Can anybody hear me? Is there anybody here? Testing. Type of 1. Okay, thanks, Elizabeth. All right, thanks a lot. All right, Mahalia, thanks a lot. Get kind of lonely up in here sometime, man. You know, it get kind of lonely up in here. You know, that's all right. It's cool. You know, it's cool. It's all good. So let me bring up this screen. I'm gonna talk a little bit more about what we've been looking at. Now I'm gonna jump in the middle of let me see. Look at that. Elizabeth said she took a nap. Yeah, I'll put you to sleep, man. I admit that. But that's cool too, you know. As long as whenever you want, you can come back and listen to the video. That's the only important thing. You know, you can chop it up, take it in bits and pieces. You know, my only prayer is that the creator, he'll use me to let me say something that'll spark some to spark some encouragement in soul or spirit of a brother or sister. You know, whatever will encourage. Because the only important thing is to get understanding. And basically, this this uh, this lesson, I don't like to call it a lesson because I don't like to look. I don't like to take on the name of a teacher. But what I'm sharing here is it's about the angels are trying to tell you this is how we work, this is how we move on people, and this is the effect that plays out in history. These are things, first they happen in heaven, and then they manifest on earth. And they have taken a period of time. They go from Cosmin in this study, and they're showing you how they have worked through history and how we can expect them to work in the future. Now, we're picking up, and I'm going to just elaborate more. I'm going to just take a couple of periods of history that they have given us and just talk about what the angels have to say about it and the effect of the light when it was really bright, shining. I'm going to see. Let me find a better word. They're taking pains to show us the effects of the light when it was high times and low times. We read earlier in the earlier videos where the angel said at times of low light, brethren who are ascending in grade, they are inspired to greater works of charity. But along with that ascending light, I should have the chart up. Let me get the chart. There's times of debauchery. It's a double-edged sword. Now, I'm just going to be redundant and so that we can apply what the angels are saying, how they move, how we can do that in our present reality. Basically, we can know that the angels, they move on a global scale. On a global scale, the things they do, I mean, how can I rephrase that? Let me see. Like here, okay, I got the map up. The high points that you see on the screen, those were times when it was a open door, so to speak, for the angels to work. It was a time of great opportunity. It was, you know what I mean? I mean, it's like, to give you an example, like in this reality, something happens to a person, they get in an accident or something, or they go before a judge and they're under a threat of getting a long sentence. You know what I mean? That could be a time of highlight, a Dan. Well, no, I can't say a Dan or a Danha. That's a Danha is like an extended time of enlightenment. But the screen here, you see peaks and valleys. And you take this reality, somebody, they get in a jam and they start praying. And the angels, they look at that as an opportunity. That happens a lot. But a national scale where, like a war, people start praying. There's a harvest for the beast kingdom, but there's a harvest for the angels as well. People start seeking God. You know what I mean? The beast kingdom, they get a harvest too, though. People start going to the beast, praying to the beast. Instead of praying 2 times a day to the beast, they start praying 8, 9, 10 times a day to the beast. You see? That's how the angels are saying, this is how it works. There are times when you look in your reality, there are calamities that could be a time of, you know, the angels say that's a good time in the sense for them to influence people to the Creator. They start to influence. It's easier to influence people when their hearts, their minds are open, you know, and these peaks, they help to explain. See, these are periods of time that we have been looking at. You know, one of the more interesting things is we've been looking at the 1920s, we've been looking at the summer of love, and then we come to our day where the light is going to just keep, it looks like it's just going to keep going up and up and up and up until the point where the darkness is finally defeated and the kingdom of God is here. And the faiths are supreme in all the world, like the OAHSPE says. See, that's the agenda right there. The faith to see the OAHSPE, it says that. You brethren have seen that, right? You've seen that 1 billion times. That's the end. That is the end game right there. That's the end game. The faiths will be supreme in all the world. You brethren remember that verse, right? You remember that? Y'all want to see it again? I can show you, you know, so we can bless our soul. I can show you. Hold on a second. I'll show you. Watch. I'll do a word search. Hold on. This is an easy one to find. This is an easy one. See? Verses like this is equal to like telling, you know, it's like a woman hearing her man say, I love you. You know, I'm trying to describe the blessing of reading these verses. You know, I imagine that a woman get a real kick out of that. You know, if she care about him, they like to hear it. You know, I think it's the same way with faiths. You read verses like this, I know it blessed my soul. I could hear this all day. See, you know, let me digress for a second, man. You know, I had a girlfriend when I was first having girlfriends, you know, and she, you know, bless her soul, man. She always, I had to say I love you a lot, man. And I was not sincere most of the time. I mean, I just tell the truth. I just said it most of the time to keep the peace. How could I say it? I didn't even know what it was. I didn't know what love is. How are you gonna ask a 18-year-old? You know, but it is what it is. It's human, you know, nature. You know, but it made it was a blessing for her. You know what I mean? I mean, really, now I could really understand it because I find now I'm my girlfriend in a sense. Now, as an older man, I keep, you know, I talk to the Creator. I want to know. I have questions. Sometimes I have questions all day, you know, all day, man. You know, do you know who I am? Can you hear me praying? Do you love me? Where are you? You don't love me anymore. You know, I go through all the cycles my ex-girlfriend did. You know, you see how it worked. The Creator, he really has a way of showing you when the shoe is on the other foot. Now, where is it at? Where it says faiths will be supreme in all the world. Well, I can't find it. I know it's here. There it is, right there. There it is, right there. See, I can listen to this all day. I can listen to this all day. You know, like to try to find verses that say the same thing, Look at that. This keep me going, you know. Two conditions will manifest. Subjective spiritualists will affiliate with the world's people. See, now I'm going off, man. That's why you can't do these word studies, man, because it's too good. See, now I'm going off, Subjective spiritualists, that's all over the internet. That is all over. These people, they talk and they sound good, and you subscribe to them, and they under the beast. They under the beast kingdom. You know what I mean? They lead you right to the beast kingdom. Subjective spiritualists. Creators say they will affiliate with the world's people. He said they're deniers of the ever-present, and they will pursue earthly vocations for self's sake. But objective spiritualists, that's what you, brethren, are. Being those who live for the Spirit's sake will be faithists. See? Objective. You got to show us the money, if I may. Show me the money, man, Prove it to me. See? And the Creator, he proved himself to you. He show us the money. See? He said, those who live for the Spirit's sake will be faithists, believers in the ever-present person, Jehovah. See, it's important, man, I'm telling you the truth, to know who subjective spiritualists are. They're all over the world, man, and they speak good. They speak, and you be shaking your head like, wow, yeah, that's right. And man, boy, you're really smart. And then you just keep look, and you don't even realize they don't lead you anywhere. They don't lead you to the Creator, won't talk about him, don't know anything about his anointed word. They got a gift, man. See, that's where prosperity speech preachers, they make a killing. I'm sorry to say it. I'm sorry to report it, but it's the truth. Subjective spiritualists, man, talking about esoteric things that sound good and deceive the people. But objective spiritualists, being though, I really got to thank Brother Daryl Cosman, man. He turned me on to the difference between objective and subjectivism. That's a beautiful brother, man. He also posted something I meant to share. I haven't gotten around to it yet, but I will. Something it was really nice, man. Something about a picture of Jesus Christ and how he fed people. But the OAHSPE say, don't feed them, teach them how to feed themselves. But I believe it's forgiven, when you do that type of charity. But the Creator says that he wants you to teach them how to feed themselves. So it's not a temporary fix. The brother posted something. He posted something that brought that point out. Anyway, objective spiritualists, being those who live for the Spirit's sake, will be faithists. See? That's why it's going to be hard to deceive a faithist. A faithist, he know that somewhere along the line, brother, you got to come out with the Creator. You got to come with the Creator, brother, at some point. That's what delivers us from the Druges. The northeast, the southeast, the northwest, the southwest, the Druges, the corners of the reality, or wherever they come from, the corners of the world. That's what delivers us. Believers in the ever-present person, Jehovah, whom they will worship not only in words, but by abjuring self and uniting themselves in brotherhoods for the sake of doing good to others. These latter, that means the faithists. These latter, see, you can listen to this all day. These latter are the chosen people of the Father of the cosmic era. I'm gonna say something, man, in case somebody is listening. A lesson. I'm gonna spill a secret of the brotherhood. I'm gonna spill a secret. Maybe somebody will see this video and it might minister to them. I feel a little inspiration to say this. You young couples, and even older couples, you could say, it's important to let each other know that they're the only one for you. That's important, man. I mean, I'll be honest. My dating years and all them years, mating years and all that, that's all over with now. I've been around the block, now, I'm on the shelf, But I believe I can say something I learned that will help. I used to, and I never would reveal this to a girlfriend or a love interest. I would never, but I was dying that they would find out. So I can spill the beans now because, like I said, that stage of my life, that's all done and over with. It was good while it lasted, but, all good things eventually come to an end. I was dying, man, that my girlfriend would say something like, you're the only one for me. You're the only one. You are the only one who has ever been built, who will be who you are. And that is the person that I find I want. Nobody else can be who, they singled out my uniqueness. You know what I mean? I wish I used to just die for my girlfriend to say something like that, because we live in a world of competition. It's always somebody who can replace you. They do it better. They got more money. They got more flavor. What people need to know is why you need to tell your spouse, hey, you know what? You can work it like only you can. Y'all should do that for each other, man. Tell them, sit them down and say, look, you the only one who can be you, and that's the one I want. Okay? Can't nobody be you. You are the one I want. Come hell or high water. And man, I know in my heart that would work wonders for people. If you single that person out, man, as they're the only one who can do what they do, even if it's past gas, the way they, you single out their uniqueness. You're the only one who can do in the whole world. And that's the one I want, because you're the only one who can do that. You're the only one. And you're not BSing them. If you mean it, you tell a person why, you detail why it is that you attracted to them, why you with them. You can't lose, man. And I know the creator, he says that you're the only one. He created you. There ain't nobody there is no, you know what I mean? Like they say, they throw away the mold. They break the mold after you. The mold is broken. There could never be another you. And the creator, he wants that to be respected. So it says the latter are the chosen people, talking about the faithists of the cosmic era, and they will become supreme in all the world. That's the part I want to get to. You know, you can hear that all day. You can listen to that all day, man. 3 people in the world, believers, faithists, have existed in all ages. The world's people, believers, and the faithists. He keeps separating us. They have existed in all ages of the world. All right, so that's enough for that. Let me get back. I just want you to see that, to, you know, to bless your, you know, how to, it feels good to, you know, Creator bless your soul and let you know that, you know, the, how special he looks at faithists. Not to say that he loves one group of people over the other. I don't see that, but there are brethren who I know that they are under a unique blessing that the Creator, he blesses them as they turn to him. So anyway, here's the chart again. There's high times, there's low times, and when it dips beneath the line, you see there, it's a time of war. Time of war. That means there's the angels are worded, they get through. Ain't nobody pay attention. Don't nobody really care. Men just care for themselves. Materialism. Gimme, gimme, gimme. We in a time like that right now. And this long line pointing downward, that was World War II. That was World War II. World War II. You know, nobody really, and it should be a time you would think where people would, you know, really look and pray and seek, you know, and the Radiance Anthology is saying no. That was a time of low light, and I think because it preoccupied men to where they didn't have time to think about, you know, spiritual things, the Creator, and, you know, God, even gods, and, you know, they're preoccupied with whether the world was going to, you know, you would think, well, that should drive men to, you know, seek the Creator. But the angel said, no, look at the chart. That was a time of low light. We couldn't talk to nobody, man, you know. Now let's read what the study had to say. Now, the second paragraph, it says, you will note that the peak intensity of light at dawn was actually 5 years for cosmic. So actually, it's saying cosmic started 5 years before 1848. It says there will be no confusion in this if you remember that 0 anno cosmic was in some ways an arbitrary choice in conjunction with earthly events. So there was some event that was really the trigger, but we attribute it mainly to the Fox sisters. Or it could even be referring to the Fox sisters. No, I don't think it's referring to the Fox sisters. Remember the Fox sisters? They opened the door to spirituality. Rochester, New York, remember the Fox sisters? And here is saying that there's usually an event that really is the trigger before the events on Earth, you know, actually come to pass. Like in the spirit first, and then, you know, on heaven second, you know. It says, in any event, you may almost always assume a spiritual. Okay, well, it says it here. Okay. All right. In any event, you may almost always assume a spiritual event to precede an earthly event by some given interval of time. Okay, as above, so below. Usually, as above, something happens up there. Eventually, it makes its way down here. You also note that the major calamities in recent history correspond to sub-cycle waves of aging. Major calamities. That's another thing I'm going to point out about this chart. Now, it mentions AG as a time here on the chart when the line goes below the segmented line here, AG, AG, pronounced darkness, AG. It says, you also note that the major calamities in recent history respond to subcycle waves of AG. So it's saying that. Says, you also note that the major calamities in recent history correspond to the subcycles of AG, and you may infer from the chart that no similar events are imminent in the immediate future. Okay, so it's telling us that we don't see any times of AG in our day going forward, at least past 200 years after Cosmin, 2049. No times of AG. Okay, we don't see a dip where it signals a world war. That's what I was saying the other day. It seems like we won't be experiencing a world war, but we know we're going to be experiencing a great change. We're already doing it. It seems that that's what the article, that's what the file, that's what it's saying here. You also note that the major calamities in recent histories correspond to subcycle waves of AG. Okay. You also note that subcycle waves, subcycles where it's right here is below the line. Those are subcycle waves, and they represent times of war, is what it's saying. It says no similar events are imminent in the immediate future. Okay, so we look at the chart. It says no similar events are in the immediate future. So looking at the chart, the line goes up. We don't see no dip all the way till the year 20, the harvest, and even afterwards. So we something, but there will be conflagrations of some sort. Let's see if we can read that here. It says, you also note that major calamities in recent history correspond to subcycle waves of aging. And you may infer from the chart that no similar events are imminent in the immediate future. And you would be correct in this assumption. It says, but that does not rule out, however, the possibility of mortal conflict or disruption, for many factors come into play with such events. As a case in point, consider your country's recent tribulations in the Far East near 120 after Cosmin. Now, 120 after Cosmin is saying, look back at 120 after Cosmin, and it's going to be like that in the near future. Online calculator. Okay, so let's see. Now we got 1848. And it's telling us go to 120 years after Cosmin. And the lesson is going to be, this is what's going to be similar to what's going to happen in the future. Okay, the summer of love, right? Is saying here, as a case in point, consider your country's recent tribulations in the Far East, talking about Vietnam, near 120 years after Cosmin. Some of the spiritual events which contributed to those conflicts were discussed in previous sessions. And you will notice from the graph that those events occurred in the cycle of relatively intense spiritual light. We again refer the student to cosmogony and prophecy for a deeper understanding of this apparent contradiction in circumstance. Like, how could it be a high time of light? How could it be a time of light? But the time of the event showed us debauchery like the Roaring 20s. It was a time, all we know about it was the corruption. But the angel said that was the time we reached a lot of people. Remember, we read, I went on the internet and it said that there was a rise in spirituality during the Roaring 20s. So it's saying here, let me read it again. It says, some of the spiritual events which contributed to those conflicts, talking about Vietnam here, Vietnam, Summer of Love, you know, some of the spiritual events which contributed to those conflicts. Am I reading that right? Let me see. Some of these spiritual events which contributed to those conflicts were discussed in previous sessions. And you will notice from the graph that those events occurred in a cycle of relatively intense spiritual light. Okay, so we look at the chart and it should show that at the same time war went on, it's showing a rise in the spiritual delight. Here's the first one. AG, remember, see, war down there, then a rise in the spiritual light. And then here's World War II and a rise in the spiritual light. It's like the war, it bred a rise in this, you know, people basically saying, we don't want this, we want something, we want to go another direction. Okay, so now why are you telling this, Radiance? Why are you telling us that at the time of highlight, there's conflicting events on the earth? Why are you telling us? Okay, so it says, it's showing us that, let me read again. Some of the spiritual events which contributed to those conflicts were discussed in okay. You will notice from the graph that those events occurred in the cycle of relatively intense spiritual light. The events is talking about World War I, World War II, basically World War I, World War II. We again refer the student to cosmogony and prophecy for deeper understanding. Okay, and it says, it would seem, or let me go back up. It says, it is often the relativity of light or degree of spiritual change that makes a greater impact on mortal events and attitudes. So the higher the light, then the greater the impact. Greater the impact. Oh, I'm not even sharing the screen, man. Shoot, I'm sorry. I was reading this part right here. Well, let me see. You can't see my cursor. Where it starts off, it is often. So basically, it's saying that the relativity of light or degree of spiritual change that makes a greater impact on mortal events and attitudes. So, like the Summer of Love, it was a great time of light, had a great impact on the world. It's saying the greater intensity of light, greater impact on mortal events. It said, consider the seemingly inconsequential peak at 100 years after Cosmin. That would be 2049. That was around the end of the war. And here, the angels say that was an inconsequential time. Like, no noticeable effect. 100 years after Cosmin, around the end of the war. That would be 48. They're saying it looked like it was a time of little or no importance. It says, but when one considers that the relative intensity was 70, so they're saying that the intensity was up damn near 100, you know. So something was going on that we don't know about that wouldn't play out till later on. That's what they're saying. They say that while only 10 years before, it was at 450. So that is talking about World War One. Is saying it was a few years before. The intensity was 450. The surge was intense indeed. The intensity of this new light had left a substantial imprint on the newborn at that time, more especially those born between 97 and 103. So it's saying that World War I, big time of darkness, big time of darkness. Big time of darkness. Up from, let me see, I'm reading it wrong. Let me explain it better. It says it would seem to be of little importance, but when one considers the relative intensity 100 years after Cosmin, which was the end of the war, it was 70. But 10 years before, it was 450. So World War II, which, by the way, was the most deadly war ever, most destructive human event ever, the darkness was at a level 450. But 10 years before, the intensity was 70. So it's like, how could it have gotten so low after a time where it was a time of high light? How did it get so low? It said the intensity of this new light left a substantial imprint, meaning after the war, the intensity of this new light left a substantial imprint on the newborn at that time, more especially those born between 97 and 103 years after Cosmin, meaning our grandparents and our parents. They were born at around this time. It says the intensity of this new light after World War II left a substantial imprint on the newborn at that time, most especially those born between 97 AK and 103 after Cosmin, with the effect being a greater psychic intensity and inclination towards spiritual influences. So they were more subject, they were more accepting, our parents and grandparents, of spiritual things. The time of darkness left an imprint on them, an ability in them to be able to receive spiritual things. It said this, of course, does not apply to all newborns at that time, for many factors influence the quality of a birth. Those, however, who were born with favorable parental influences during gestation and subjected to a favorable environment were to be much more telepathic and mediumistic when compared to children born at other times in recent history. And it was this influence in part that led to many of the startling contrasts in the vicinity of 120 years after Cosmin, the Summer of Love. So basically, it's about time for the end of the video. What it's saying, just to summarize it, is that after World War II, the way it played out, how we couldn't see it, is there was an influence on our parents and grandparents, and it came out in them being the ones who, at the time of the Vietnam War, it was our parents and grandparents who were they were prepared, so to speak. They were prepared to what's a good word for? They were prepared because, you see, the angel said that because of the effects of World War II and a rise in the light, they were preparing the people who were major factors in the Summer of Love to give rise to spirituality, although they were what's a good word for? They were not educated, but they were spiritual. They weren't enlightened in the sense that they were led to the Creator, but they were spiritual. The angels are saying, we worked through what happened with the war with those who would be born like 20, 30 years later, to be a new light pointing to spirituality, questioning religious traditions. It's like they were showing us that they work in ways in which you might not see an effect, but they call it a time of highlight because of what's going to come afterwards. Now, here we are nearly 80 years later, well, 70, 80, and we are the children of the summer of love, if you will. I mean, their influence worked on us to raise. I don't know. I hope you can understand what I'm trying to say. There's a like an effect from generation to generation. Angels saying we use events of the world to shape the events of the future spiritually. And so we're showing how from generation to generation, okay, 1920s, you have people rise to spirituality. Okay, then you had the 60s, summer of love, people questioning religious traditions. So now they're moving away from traditional religion, causing people to think in spiritual terms and to think about God, who he is and where is he, and this type of thing. Now you get down to the faithists who rediscover who is really the OAHSPE is picking up steam. It's multiplying, brethren. The OAHSPE said that from year to year that our numbers are going to grow. So the angels are basically saying we work, and at times it doesn't seem like we're working at all when we're really preparing people's spirits for the things we're going to do a whole lot later on. So they use Roaring 20s, they use Summer of Love, they use World War I, World War II, all for the preparing of the spirits of men to be ready for this spirit, for the Creator and the kingdom of God, the eventual kingdom of God. Anyway, I'm at the end of the reading of the word, and so let me just stop it for right now. I think I'm going to dedicate one more program tomorrow and try to do one more program tomorrow, and I'll probably be finished with the study of this series. But we have been prepared. To summarize everything, the angels are showing you, brethren, how you've been prepared. We've been prepared for this time to be a foundation for the faithists. They showing us how they worked, how they bring us to the point that we're at right now. We didn't just, it took a process for us. They showing us ourselves, why we are the way we are, why we think the way we think. This is the process that they had to shape the minds of people, and the Lewis went to work putting our parents together so that we would have the best possible combination of parents to bring us to this point where we are right now. And so we are charged with laying the foundation of the king. Well, I think the foundation has been laid, but now Pluto is going into Aquarius, and the Creator says there's going to be a greater manifestation when you read Jehovah's Kingdom. That is, in other words, power from on high. It seems to be the next great move, because we read earlier, he said faithists are going to be supreme in all the world. So basically, that's the agenda. Anyway, that's for today. That's the best I can do for today, this video. So, brethren, thank you, Creator, for showing us that this is how we were made. These are the things the angels did to bring us to this point, to shape our spirit, to show us what your purpose is for us, how we came to be the way we are, how it's a process. The angels, they have to, from generation to generation, they got to influence people and then prepare. This is another way in how the angels, make straight the way of the Lord. They showed us the process. It's very, very detailed. It's very involved. And so by reading this, we know that you're going to also accomplish, we know that you're going to accomplish what you set out for Vetus to do, which is to bring the kingdom to the earth, and that we're now closer to, we're only a few years away from the harvest. So thank you, Creator. And brethren, that will be it for today. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for the fellowship. Pray that you have been enlightened even a little bit. Creator, I think, is just mainly to sum it all up, showing us that there is a process involved, that he moves in ways sometimes we can't see, but it's more felt than it is seen, and that we are in a period of time where we see the conflict and the inability of the light to really shine on our current reality. But we know that Pluto is now going into Aquarius. It's a new time, and even the world is going to realize that we've crossed a we've crossed into a different era that is going to, I think that the Creator is going to really use inventions and technology to bring that understanding to the world, that there's that this is a new period in time. So I guess that's it. That's the best I can do. Thank you for joining me, brethren. Friday, tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. And pray the Creator bless you, brethren, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Again, thanks for joining me. And until I see you again, peace be unto you all, and shalom.